Hi, everybody, and welcome to ANKH FUSION, a podcast designed to give you permission to think differently and to push you to a new level of understanding and awareness. A safe space where you tap into your level of abundance in all areas of your life and business. I'm Gigi, your host and provider of happiness. In today's conversation, we'll talk about entrepreneur in the beverage industry. And to get a better understanding of it, we have Zainab Yekini, the owner of Mimu Cocktails. Hi, Zini, how are you doing?
Hi, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. Very excited about this.
We are as well excited, and we always want to have motivated and energetic people here. So thank you for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
So we'll talk about the entrepreneur in a beverage industry. Mm-hmm. So to start with, we know that dry October, dry January, sober October are a type of word that it's known for people, mm-hmm. and it's happening sometime during a certain amount of a period of during the year. And it means that those non-alcoholic demand are in a increase because people are taking in consideration quality in terms of product, mm-hmm. but as well they have interest on not decreasing the intake of alcohol. So in order to that, there is a niche, and you jump into that niche.
Exactly. Yeah. I to be honest, I kind of just fell into it. When I started Mimu, I would be lying if I said I had a direction. Mm-hmm. I've always been the kind of person where I plan something, I plan it to the nth degree, and then I go do it. And honestly, it's basically Jesus take the wheel, mm-hmm. To see where I go. And through sort of working a lot with clients and people, I just noticed like there's more of a demand for non-alcoholic drinks, mm-hmm. particularly within our market. Like our markets are generally Africans, Africans between the ages of 24, 45 and onwards. So majority by sort of culture and for religious reasons as well. Mm-hmm. Alcohol does not play a huge part in sort of celebratory events. So we just kind of like, well, it's a lot straight easier. It makes our life a lot easier. So we went sort of the non-alcoholic route mm-hmm. in terms of the drinks that we supply.
Yeah, no, you're right, because especially after the post-pandemic, people realized that they were consuming a lot of alcohol as well. So it was kind of an awakening. Mm-hmm. So how did it start? And just tell us a bit more.
It was...
And who you are as well.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm I suppose the word is the director or manager or
yes, you
founder.
Are.
It's the first time I've actually ever said that out loud. I kind of feel so important. I should change my LinkedIn profile now and add that little thing. My manager.
CEO.
Yeah, I know, right? My manager in my company would be like, excuse me, what are you CEO of? You have a report to send me. But so I started Mimu actually last year, autumn of last year, but the journey towards it is far earlier than that. So it was very random. There's a person, a lady it's insulting, but she's a lady, but on Instagram called Sparkle Cocktails. Mm-hmm. And I've been following her for many, many years, like from the very beginning. And she put up a post for mentorship. Mm-hmm. Mentorship cocktails, like similar to what she does, mixologist. And at the time, I was kind of looking for something to do. I just didn't know what it was. And so many ideas were popping through my head. I've always been a very big foodie. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a massive foodie, and I'm a food snob. I'm not even ashamed of it. It is what it is. I'm a snob in food and clothes. That's just about it. And with myself, I'm very particular about where I eat and what I drink and what I put on as well. So I've always had I suppose something was always driving me towards that area of hospitality and catering. I just didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't want to go full on catering food because that's just exhausting. It's one thing to eat food. The next thing is it's another thing to be making it, for people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I didn't know where I wanted to go. I knew the kind of general area, and this came up, this mentorship. And I was like, oh, I'm going to join up for it. And I literally just randomly just pinged her and said, can I take part in your mentorship? She gave me the details. I paid the money and off we go. And it was just normally whenever I'm looking to do something, I've researched the heck out of it. I planned it. This is what it's going to be. But this was just so random and out of place. And for some strange reason, that felt kind of more right than normal, because I can plan forever, but then I will plan myself out of it. You know, you'll talk yourself out of it and like, oh, it's too risky, it's too stressful, and this, like that. But in this one, I just jumped into it, which is so out of character. And the mentorship was amazing. Like, I could not begin to praise Sparkles more. This woman is amazing. Like, she is got such a high work ethic, and to get to see that, the mentorship was very, very in-depth. Like, it wasn't just, you know, you sit down and she talk you through, and there's a bit of that, but it's a lot of, there was shadowing involved. There was, you know, recipe, she provide recipes,
the process,
the process, the suppliers, the contacts, like everything was just laid out there. And like, that was more than I was expecting to receive. And she's actually doing another mentorship again cycle this year. So if anyone's ever interested, just give it a go. Like, even just, you know, have a go. Like, even just the experience of it, like being able to see something from this unique perspective of being able to see it before you start it, and you get to know whether you want it or not. And it's a lot of hard work. But after the mentorship, we did the mentorship. I shadowed her on a couple of events. You know, we did some one-to-ones. She showed me some, you know, recipes and suppliers and things like that. Now, I already had my own of those suppliers and recipes, but it was good to sort of get another perspective and pricing and things like that.
Which things that you are not aware.
Exactly. Like, they're so important. That was what I was interested in. I just didn't think she would give it. I had to think of a way. I was thinking of a way I could sneakily get it from her, but there was no need. She's so transparent and so open. And that is just what we need more of, is that she's very big on sort of women helping each other grow, like helping each other to grow, not just, like, in my head, I'm like, are you supposed to be giving me this much detail? Because I'm your competitor soon. And I said this to her, and she was like, no, I don't see it as that way. Like, we're helping each other to grow. Like, you're learning from me and I'm learning from you and things like that. So it's a symbiosis. We help each other. And
I like that spirit as well, because when you try to help someone, sometimes, you know, the network is a bit close. So it's hard to help to grow when you are newbie in the industry. But when you have someone who is willing to open you the door, it facilitates the communication and the transition as well for building up your confidence and your skills.
Exactly. And the thing is, Ireland's not a big country, but it's a big enough market. Like, the cocktail mixologist industry in Ireland is so tiny. It is so tiny. I would say, in terms of serious competitors, it's just two. There's Sparkles and there's Awesome Cocktails. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's up near the Dublin, Kildare area as well. Those are two main things. And they're fully booked up, like, every single weekend. And they have their 9-to-5s as well. But if you go to the UK, there are dozens and dozens and dozens everywhere, like even just in London alone. So there's plenty of market out there. And I think she just wanted to sort of start something and grow something. So that was where I started, and I got the information, I got the details. And then I think 2 years into it, I was like, right, it's time to stop procrastinating. It's time to stop planning. Let's just do it. So I got the name Mimu, which is...
Yeah, can you explain the meaning of it?
Mimu it's derived from the Yoruba, tribal Yoruba for to drink. So I'm Nigerian and I'm of the Yoruba tribe.
Okay.
So I really wanted something that would have my culture part of it, something that was very much linked to my culture and my tribe. So I went with Mimu, which you'd be surprised a lot of people haven't made the connection. Other Yorubas, because like Nigerians and Yorubas are everywhere. We're like ants. We're like
it's everywhere. A big community here in Ireland, you know.
It's a big community, but they haven't made the connection yet, because Yoruba is not a language that a lot of them are familiar with from a, I guess, reading perspective. It's kind of a spoken
spoken language.
So Mimu is the Yoruba to drink, basically. And that's where I came up with that. From there, we did branding. And from the branding, I was able to sort of visualize exactly what kind of direction I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And also something that fits my personality. Like, I'm very big on quality control, the best of ingredients, the best of everything. I'm very big on that, which has a good and negative points because I got to remember cost as well. It costs to be good. But I'm very big on like quality. So I just wanted something, I wanted a drink that just looked like it was like, think of it like when you're going on a night out, you know, you don't go out just like this.
Yeah,
you know,
no.
you put on your makeup and your hair and everything and the heels and all that stuff. So it's like a drink, but it's like accessorized.
Yeah,
you know?
You want to go through an experience.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully I'm achieving with Mimu. And slowly by slowly, like Mimu is still in its draft, I would like to say. It's evolving. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. And I've just kind of like, you know what? I will see where it leads me, because I am not a serial entrepreneur. I don't really have a lot of experience in entrepreneurship. So I'm taking it bit by bit and seeing sort of where I can go with it.
And that's the way to do, you know.
Yeah, it is. Like I'm somebody who's very risk adverse. I'm not very good at just like throw in all my savings and like, you know, let it go. I can't. I'm too chicken for that. And also, like, I'm also in the process of buying property, so I have to be sort of like, I have to be careful financially in terms of how much I can do. But at the same time, I'm trying to keep it moving. But at the same time, I'm trying to sort of focus on other priorities as well. But luckily I have a 9-to-5, so I'm able to sort of be able to financially invest with that, but at the same time being able to focus on other things as well.
Like every entrepreneur, you know, balancing the daily work and the vision behind. Yeah. So how do you set up how do you stay up to date with the current trend regarding the mocktail and the innovation?
Honestly, it's like, I wouldn't say trend exactly, because I don't know what is the trendy thing. Like, cocktails and drinks, they're, you know, you have your classic recipes. You have your classic things, your pina coladas, your margaritas, your mojitos and things like that. And then you have your signature drinks, which is the ones unique to the brand. So a lot of the time, like, I would go to bars and like nice bars, and I would taste something. I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. And then I'll try and like recreate it at home. And it's obviously, it's not always 100%, but then I try to, you know, add a little bit of my own flair, which is similar to what we're going to do today. It's my own signature drink. I came up with it like literally 2 weeks ago on the menu, and also on Instagram. So there's a lot of, you know, TikTok videos and a lot of like little very stylized videos of people making drinks and things like that. So I will see something and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting flavor, and I'll try it out. So it's just, there's so many different sources of information. Like, I'm completely self-taught in the drinks. I had thought about going to an academy, but a lot of the reviews and things like that were like, you can learn all of that yourself. And it looked so basic when I looked at their recipes and, you know, their options that they offered. It seemed rather basic. And I felt, goodness, I should be teaching you what to do. So I enjoy it. I like to discover things for myself rather than somebody's like spoon feeding.
Yeah. How do you approach regarding your selecting your ingredient and flavors for your new cocktail?
In terms of selecting ingredients, I try to incorporate as much fresh fruit and fresh ingredients as possible. Like, everything that I give you on the glass is edible, including flowers. I use a lot of edible flowers. Now, these are subject to like availability, and they're not always available depending on the season. But I try to incorporate a lot of fresh fruits. I try to incorporate very fresh fruits, and obviously you can't use fruits for everything. There's syrups as well, make up a huge portion of cocktails. So I like to use very high quality syrups, which unfortunately come with very high prices as well. But I've experimented. Like, this is 2 years of experimenting with different ingredients and things like that. And there is a difference. Like there is such a difference between the different, like you don't want to go cheap in terms of the quality of ingredient. It really,
True, it change. Yeah.
You can taste it. Like sometimes you can even taste like, it tastes like fake ingredient. Like it tastes, you can taste the metallic in it. I just can't, like, I can't give myself this. I'm certainly not going to give clients. And if I want to make it cheaper, I can. You know, I can make a lot of money of it, but it just doesn't sit right with me in terms of who I am and how I do things. Quality is such an important thing for me. So that's an integral thing. And, you know, also making those syrups myself. A lot of the ingredients, I make them myself. So, you know, coconut syrup, that's a hard ingredient to come by. Actually cheaper and better if I make it because it's more quality. I can control the type of ingredients that I use. It's fresher, less addictives, and it's cheaper. So it's just it's freshness and it's quality. Those are the key ingredients, and creativity as well.
You said vegetables because non-alcoholic industry, yeah. But vegetable, you know, non-alcoholic as well. It's a juice. It can be a mocktail. But are you using vegetables to do your cocktail?
Oh, generally, I haven't gone there that stage yet. That's an interesting area. I mean, carrot juice, beet juice. You know, there are things that are incorporated into smoothies, and that's, you know, a blend of flavors and a balance of flavors. That certainly is. In terms of mine, I haven't gotten that far yet. Like I have a drink we call cool as a cucumber, which is what I was supposed to make today, but due to supply chain issues, which is quite common, like ingredients and things like that, you need to adapt and change. So I couldn't get any cucumber, but it's a cucumber based cocktail, cucumber, lime, elderflower. It's quite refreshing. It's a very nice summer drink. So yeah, the sky is the limit. It's creativity. It's having fun with the palette. It depends on your palette yourself. You can have fun with the ingredients and being flexible with different flavors as well, just like you would in any other culinary sort of orientated industry.
So we were talking about flavor. I saw that you brought some vegetable. Can you show me and explain to the audience what you have?
So today I will be showing you one of my signature drinks. It's called Not Your Mate. And it's very sassy. It's very sweet. It's very refreshing. I like to think of it as just kind of like me when I get paid. That's my alternate ego, or one of them anyway, in this drink. So I thought it would be fun if we make one together.
Let's do it.
Good at that?
Yeah. Okay, let's go for it.
So first thing we're going to start, safety first.
Yeah. The hygiene control. That's
very important.
It's really important.
So
thank you.
One for you. This is for me. I swear, when I bought these, I regretted them because I didn't think I wanted something that was snug. And this was kind of loose, and it drives me mad, but I already paid for it. So I have to use it up before I buy a new one. Okay. So we have our glass, and you have yours there. Yeah. We're going to start with, I actually completely forgot to bring two of the equipment. I just thought one, because it's normally just me making these things. So you get the measurements.
Okay.
So you take that, and you're going to measure half, the small one, the half shot of lemon.
Okay. You
so
put
I'll
it?
pour it? Okay, I'll pour it.
And what's your experience while we are speaking with equipment?
My experience with the equipment, like, it varies. Like, there are so many different equipments to use during cocktail making. So
can I put it inside?
Yeah, so you pour that in there. It depends on like what it is that you're making. So for this, we don't, like, when you think of a classic cocktail, you think of the shaker.
Blender, shaker.
Not all of them are necessary as well. When you're doing like really large events, the shaker is a pain in the ass. Like, if you're doing it for like 100 people, like constantly shaking for 100 people is a lot. So you have to improvise and be able to sort of
optimize,
like think of ways to sort of be able to serve the crowd and be flexible with it. So in that situation, your classic cocktail equipment is not always
blender or juicer.
Yeah, like, and then there's blender and juicer, like if you're making a daiquiri. I personally, for large events, I don't do daiquiris because
I can imagine.
it's a lot of, it's a lot. Like daiquiris take a long time to make with the blenders. I'm searching for a much powerful blender. I bought the most powerful blender I could find on the market, which isn't very powerful. The commercial ones are like thousands of euros, which, I don't have the budget for at the moment. So it's something I'm working towards. So I had to find the most powerful commercial domestic blender I could find, which is pretty powerful, but it takes a while. So for the moment, I don't actually offer daiquiris for large events, just for smaller gatherings, like up to 40 or 50 people.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So you have to sort of adjust to those. So next thing we're going to do is do another half shot of elderflower, which I love. Elderflower.
It's really another taste and bring you in terms of your palate.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I just love the floral sort of refreshing flavor it gives.
Here we go.
Yep. So.
And my next question is, how do you manage your inventory and ensure that you have all the ingredient and supply available for your mocktail creation?
So right now it's a balancing act. So my inventory there's the equipment, which are fine. Depending on the volume of cocktails. So for instance, right now because I'm still sort of starting out, I can cater for up to about 50 people easily. I have the equipment for that. Anything higher than that, I will need to order additional equipment for that. So I do try to ask clients to give at least 2 weeks notice. For you to organize. To be able to organize. So those are pretty fine. You run into issues when, deliveries are late and things like that. So there's that. But I always try to have a plan B. There might not be the equipment that I want, but I can get something alternative easier, maybe in a shop somewhere like Musgraves or something like that. Then there is the perishable things. So that's the fruits and the vegetables and all of that. Because I use a lot of fresh ingredients, I have to purchase these things as early as possible to preserve freshness. So certain things I can purchase a couple of days in advance, like passion fruit. Like the longer the better, even. Much sweeter. Strawberries, again, this 2 or 3 days before. Now, certain other types of ingredient like mint. I had to learn the hard way about this. Mint, I use mint a lot in garnishes. And mint starts to wilt after a couple of hours, So I bought mint. I remember it was my very first event. I bought mint on the day because I was like, I'm going to make it as fresh as possible. So I bought it on the day. The event was in Dublin. I had to drive from Limerick to Dublin, and the event was in the afternoon, late afternoon, 5:00. So I get there, I'm putting my ingredients, doing everything. So I'd pick out the mints that I had saved up, the really nice, pretty mints. I picked out the best ones, the fresh ones, make sure it's green and it's strong and thing. And it was dead. It was like lifeless and dead. And I was nearly crying. I'm like, this is ugly. But I had to put something because my cup looked so bare and I needed to make it pretty. And I didn't want to do it. I was like half of mine just to take it out, but it didn't look too bad, but it didn't look the way it was supposed to. And I was just absolutely
frustrated,
angry. Like it was a small thing.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but
I look at other pictures of people doing cocktails and things like that. And I can see it. I can spot in there. They have like wilted
I see
mint.
you.
And I'm like, how do you even look at yourself in the mirror by putting that up? So for me, it was like a big deal. I was, oh my God, it's still traumatized. So I have to sort of plan when I'm doing fresh ingredients, the ones that are very, very perishable. I have to plan well in advance. I have to look, where is the event? Where's the nearest supermarket?
Okay.
And there's always a supermarket like 5 minutes away from everything. So I have to plan exactly where everything is so that I can get them. Like ice, for instance. I need to buy those like the very last. So when I get to a destination, I find a nearest supermarket. I buy the ice and I buy mint and any other sort of ingredient that will wilt quickly. And then there's certain ingredients like flowers. there's only one store nearby that I can get them from. So I have to call in advance to make sure that they're there. There's a lot of logistic planning where I can purchase the supply. And hopefully what I'm hoping is as time progresses, I will, develop new supplier relationships and able to get these ingredients in a much easier way. Because right now it's like, it's a timeline of everything. Like everything needs to be
on point and adjusted.
But
I know.
I have experience in project management and organization and things like that. Like I used to be a congress organizer, organize large, massive congresses. So I'm like logistics planning like that. It's a piece of cake in comparison to organizing like multinational 500 attendee or 1,000 attendee events and things like that. So it's just one of those things that you have to sort of factor in. Okay, so we have the lemon and we have the elderflower. Next thing, we're going to throw in the ice.
Okay.
So just grab like a couple handfuls of ice in there. Up to the top of the cup. Yep. Perfect. So, and then we're going to add the soda.
Yes.
In there. So you just need to fill it. Make sure this doesn't explode.
Yeah.
That is not going to work well.
We adapt with the reels.
Yeah.
We cannot
live.
It's
live. Okay, so we're just going to add it, not to the very top. Just be very careful, like up to like, 3/4 of the way. So just be very careful. It doesn't, yeah. Actually, maybe just add a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Actually, I'm going to add a bit more because sometimes when it fizzles down, you're like, it looks a lot, but then, okay. And then next thing, we're going to mix it all together. So if you grab the very long spoon.
Yes.
And then, and the spoon plate, and just mix it all together so that the elderflower and lemon all come together.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Okay, and then let's see. Perfect. So next thing we're going to do, and this has always been my favorite part, is we are going to put in for you half shot of this cherry syrup.
Okay.
Which I'm trying very carefully to pour in so it doesn't stain the white cover. So, so you just pour that on top, and it gives it a very nice ombre look to the drink, which I absolutely love. It will settle on a very ombre kind of.
Yep. Yeah, look nice.
Because the syrup is so heavy, it just
We're back, guys. Thank you for tuning.
So it gives it this really nice ombre feeling because the sugar is a lot. The cherry syrup is very heavy with sugar, so it just falls down and it gives it a really nice ombre finish.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah. So then next we're gonna do is we are going to, obviously it's cocktail and we want to make it look a bit more visual, especially with the ice. So I'm gonna shred this ice, and this is my least favorite part of this entire cocktail making process is the ice. And it's breaking up the ice into small bits, and I'm very much working towards buying like a
we need strength.
Yeah, we need strength. And I'm like afraid I'm gonna break this table. So, okay, I'm just gonna move this side and this here. This is just the ice crusher, breaking up the ice into smaller pieces so that we can top the glass with. And this is just the bane of my existence. I've been doing this for like 100, 200 drinks.
Yeah.
But you get a really good hand workout.
Yeah,
so,
it's workout, you know.
I normally give this to my fiance because he's normally there to help me for these events. So I let him do this one part because he's got big arms, so like make use of them. So we just top it up with ice for the visual.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay.
You can add more if you want. Yeah. And then my favorite part, we garnish it. So you can garnish it like if you take a cocktail stick.
Thank you.
Do something basic and simple, and have like take a
Small
couple
one?
of the raspberries.
Okay.
Yeah, just pick it up. And just stick it through the stick like this.
Okay, pick another one.
Yep. And you can use the third one as well.
Yeah.
That's where you use them all up. So yeah. So you can either like put it in the drink like this or lay flat. Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah. And I have strawberries there. If you want to like, you can also like pick a strawberry and then slice it in half. Do you want to pick one or do you want to?
Yeah.
We could pick one.
Thank you.
And then slice it in half.
Okay.
Yep. And then you can like cut a little slit there on the middle.
Yeah.
To just so not too deep. Yeah. And then you can just insert it in the but facing depending on wherever the face you want the face to be. Yeah. Okay. And you could do that as well.
For the other one, or just one is enough?
1, 2, whatever. Just one is fine. It depends. Like you can get creative with garnishes. Yeah. There's so many different options that you can do, you know. But yeah, like that. And normally if I couldn't find mint leaves, but I normally put like a big stick of like mint leaf in there, just a bit of greenery, fresh ones, to use. And that's it.
Perfect.
That is our Not Your Mate. We can have a sip. You need a straw.
Here, guys, the final cocktail. To move on, I have a question. What's your biggest challenge facing the mocktail industry currently, and how you will address?
Well, the biggest challenge, I suppose one of the biggest challenge, again, supply chain, getting the supplies here. There's also a high level of customer service, dealing with customers, you know. By my clientele, it's mostly Nigerians, Africans. And as I would say it's the biggest challenge because we haven't gotten that far yet in order to have a massive challenge that's going to shut us down or anything. But it's sort of trying to balance our customer service, like our clientele, mostly Nigerians and African, and our people. You know, they like to they want to haggle. You know, there's haggling going on and things like that, and it's like, no, it doesn't. No. When I say it's this much, it's this much. Yeah, and even the rate that it is right now, it's heavily discounted because I'm just trying to build a customer base and customer clients, and it's
the audience first and then
the
after.
Audience first, but relationships. And
it's important as well because last time we were talking about it with communication and the low vibration. Communication as an entrepreneur as well, you know, we don't have to decrease and self-evaluate ourselves because we are doubting, or some people make us self-doubt by decreasing our price, you know?
Yeah.
Because it requires time, creativity, items purchased, and sometimes people don't realize it. So I really want to highlight that when people put a price, there are a lot of work behind. So it's important to respect it.
And it is like, I started out that way, and now I've just put my foot down, and it's coming up. Yeah. And it's going to keep coming up because
definitely it will.
The work that goes into it, the quality of these ingredients are not cheap, you know, and the extras are not cheap. You know, all of that thing, thing. It's not like, oh, I go to Tesco or something and I just buy like some juices and I mix it. No, it isn't. You know, a lot of these like syrups and things like that, I have to order them especially from outside Europe, from other like artesian suppliers. So it's like these things do cost, and then there's time cost as well. You know, we're there 2-3 hours before the event, and we're there at the event as well. So it's like your whole day is gone. Your whole day is dedicated to these events.
For the event. Preparation before and after, cleaning, reorganizing, packing everything in the car. So that's the most challenge.
And it's insane. Like if you go to the US, like if you compare the industry here in Ireland and even in London, in the UK, and if you compare it to the US, it is so expensive. I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands of euros on just cocktails alone. Over there.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's a big thing over there. And you're talking like tiny little, half the size of this glass. And that would be like almost like, I don't even know per person. They don't serve it per person, but it's a couple thousand. I saw one like for a 50 people event, it was like 3,000 euros or something like that, you know. So it's not cheap. Like here, clients are very lucky, but eventually people we're gonna put our foot down. I'm putting my foot down. Like it's not that it's not value. It is value for money. I think it's extreme, but at the same time, you have to think of the practical things. Like these things are expensive. Insurance is expensive. Transportation is expensive. All these ingredients, back end things expensive. Taxes are expensive. So you know, all of those things need to be taken into consideration. We're not trying to screw you guys. It's
the reality as well. People need to be aware of what if they want to jump into that industry as well. They need to have the full picture of what's going on as well. You know.
Yeah.
So, what advice will you give to someone who want to start in the mocktail industry?
The advice that I could give, and this isn't just specific to the mocktail industry, this is just in general in terms of any endeavor that you wish to undertake. My advice would be just do it. You know, if you have an idea in your head, something that you want to do, just go ahead and do it, because you can plan and you can plan it to the nth degree, to the minute detail. But all of those plans are useless if you don't actually just get up and do it. And you don't have to do it huge. You know, you don't have to throw in all your savings and everything you've got into it. I mean, you could, like, sure, if you're able to, but you can take little small steps towards it. And those little small steps count for a lot in terms of, at least you see you're doing something, you're building something. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, 90%, I think that statistics is like 90% of entrepreneurial projects tend to fail.
And that's okay.
You know, it's not even failure. I don't even like using that word. No, it's a learning experience. It's learning something new. So that's my sort of advice. It's just do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that advice. So cheers up on that.
Absolutely. Salut.
And guys, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy this episode today. And you know what to do. Activate the bell. The next episode will be next Monday. And see you. Bye.
Bye.